Welcome to Introduction to Business. We're going to be looking at Chapter 10, Managing Human Resources. Our learning objectives include explain the significance of human resource management, summarize the process of recruiting and selecting human resources for a company, describe how workers are trained and their performance appraised, identify the types of turnover companies may experience, explain why turnover is an important issue, specify the various ways workers may be compensated, evaluate some of the issues associated with unionized employees, including collective bargaining and dispute resolution, and describe the importance of diversity in the workplace. Human resource management refers to all the activities involved in determining an organization's human resources needs, as well as acquiring, developing, and compensating people to fill these needs. Managers try to maximize employee satisfaction by motivating them to productively meet the organization's objectives. Human resource management has increased in importance over the last few decades. Once dominated by white men, today's workforce includes significantly more women, African Americans, Hispanics, and other minorities, as well as disabled and older workers. Effective human resource managers are aware of changing employee conditions and use them to increase efficiency and productivity. Every manager in an organization practices some of the functions of human resource management at all times. After determining how many employees and what skills are needed to achieve organizational objectives, a firm must ascertain how many employees it currently has and project how many more will be retiring or leaving. Current and forecast employee requirements then enable managers to determine hiring and qualification requirements. Next, a strategy for satisfying human resources needs is developed, which may include outsourcing, automation, or the use of temporary workers. Job analysis determines through observation and study the specific tasks that comprise a job, the skills, knowledge, and abilities needed to perform it, and the job environment. Managers use job analysis in two ways: develop a job description, a formal written description, a specific job including job title, tasks to be performed, relationships with other jobs, physical and mental skills required, duties, responsibilities, and working conditions. To develop a job specification, a description of qualifications necessary for a specific job in terms of education, experience, personal characteristics, and physical characteristics. Both job description and job specifications are used to develop recruiting materials. Recruiting is the formation of a pool of qualified applicants from which management will select employees. There are two sources for applicants. Internal sources of applicants are the organization's current employees. This approach is relatively inexpensive. External sources are outside the firm. External sources are consistent with newspapers and journal ads, employee agencies, recommendations from current employees, unsolicited applications, online websites, and social networking. Internships are a good way to solicit for employees. This approach is more expensive than hiring from within. Recruiting for an entry-level managerial professional position is often carried out on the university campus. For managerial and professional positions above entry-level, employment agencies or executive search firms are often used. Selection is the process of collecting information about applicants and using that information to decide which ones to hire. The application is the first stage of the process. The applicant usually fills out an application with information on current salary, reasons for seeking new job, years of experience, availability, and levels of interest. A brief interview is sometimes included. The goal at this stage is to get acquainted with the applicants and eliminate those obviously not qualified for the job. The process can be lengthy and expensive, but necessary in order to find applicants who can do the work and fit into the firm's structure and culture. Careful hiring saves the company money it would later spend in recruiting, selecting, and training replacements of these employees. Many companies now accept online applicants, and some contain a questionnaire. Applications supply basic information such as name and work history, but they also reveal clues about the applicant. Imaginative responses may reveal creativity, and hastily written responses can mean a person does not pay attention to details. The interview is the second phase of the selection process. The interview provides in-depth information both to the company and the prospective employee. An interviewee's questions may be as revealing as their answers. Here are the most common asked questions during an interview. Testing is the third stage of the selection process. Ability and performance and aptitude IQ or personality tests may be given to determine whether an applicant has the necessary skills for a certain kind of work and his or her ability to fit in the firm's culture. Myers-Briggs is used to assess an applicant's potential for a certain kind of job. Interestingly, there does not seem to be any difference between introversion and extroversion in making a good manager. A polygraph or a lie detector test once is a common tool for evaluating applicants' honesty, were restricted in 1988 to specific government jobs and jobs involving security or access to drugs. Applicants may also undergo physical examinations to determine their suitability for some jobs. Many companies require applicants to be screened for illegal drug use, but this practice is controversial. Because computer knowledge is essential for many of today's current jobs, companies may also test an applicant's typing skills and knowledge of certain computer programs. Reference checking is the final step. It involves verifying educational background and previous work experience. Background checking is important because applicants sometimes misrepresent themselves on applications or resumes. An internet search is often done to determine social media or other public activities. Many organizations will confirm employment, but will not release details about the quality of previous workees' work. Here are the 10 most common resume lies. Legal constraints and regulations are present in almost every phase of the recruitment and selection process, and violations can result in lawsuits and fines. Title VII and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 bans discrimination in employment. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is the federal agency set up to enforce the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and is specifically charged with increasing job opportunities for women and minorities, with eliminating job discrimination based on race, religion, color, sex, national origin, or handicap. Employers must not impose sex distinctions on job specifications, job descriptions, and newspaper ads. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 also outlawed the use of discriminatory tests for applicants. The Americans with Disability Act prevents discrimination against disabilities. The Age Discrimination of Employment Act passed in 1967 and amended in 1978 specifically outlaw discrimination against people 40 and over and also outlaws policies that require employees to retire beforehand. The Equal Pay Act mandates that men and women who do equal work must receive the same wage. Orientation is familiarizing the newly hired employees with fellow workers, company procedures, and physical properties of the company. It generally includes a tour of the facility, introductions, and distribution of manuals describing the organization's various policies. It also involves socializing the new employee into the ethics and culture of the company. Training is teaching the employee how to do a specific job task. On-the-job training allows workers to learn by actually performing the task of the job. Classroom training teaches employees with lecture conferences, videotaped case studies, and web-based training. One example is McDonald's Hamburger University. McDonald's has expanded its Hamburger University into China to train Chinese students in such areas as restaurant management, leadership, development, and other skills. Some are engaging in virtual training and recruitment using technology such as Virtual World, Second Life. Amazon, for instance, uses Second Life for recruiting. Mentoring involves supporting, training, and guiding employees in professional development. It provides employees with more one-to-one interaction. It's thought to be beneficial to employees from underrepresented areas. Development is training that augments the skills and knowledge of the managers and professionals. Training and development are also used to improve the skills of employees in their present positions and to prepare them for increased responsibility and job promotion. A performance appraisal identifies an employee's strengths and weaknesses on the job. It has three main objectives. It provides employees with feedback on how they're doing and what they need to improve their performance. It provides a basis for determining how to compensate and reward the employee. It provides organization with information about quality of its selection, training, and development of activities. Performance appraisals may be objective or subjective. Objective assessments are qualifiable. Subjective assessments are used when the jobs do not lend themselves to objective appraisals. A ranking system is used to assess various performance factors. Productivity and quality are two important performance measurements, but many appraisals also include teamwork as well as financial management. Another performance appraisal method used in the 360 feedback system, which provides feedback from panel that typically includes superiors, peers, and subordinates. Whether appraisal is objective or subjective, it is vital that managers discuss the results with the employees so the employee knows how well he or she is doing on the job. Turnover, which occurs when employees quit or are fired and must be replaced by new employees, results in low productivity, fees to recruit new employees, management time devoted to interviewing, and costs for new employees. Further reason for turnover may be mismatched skill set, overworked employees results in downsizing, and a lack of training and advancement. Turnover is not always an unhappy occasion when it occurs in form of promotion or transfers. A promotion is an advancement, a vertical movement within an organization to a position with increased authority, responsibility, and salary. In some companies, the length of time or service determines who should be promoted. A transfer is a move from one job to another within the company. The transferred employee remains at the same wage and job level. A separation is the departure of the employee from the organization because of resignation, retirement, layoff, or termination. Employees may be terminated or fired for poor performance, violation of work rules, absenteeism, or other reasons. Recent legislation and court decisions require that companies fire employees fairly for just cause only. Managers therefore exercise care to warn employees when their performance is unacceptable and may lead to dismissal. Usually a function of economic trouble, layoffs are sometimes temporary. Employees may be brought back when a business conditions improve. When layoffs are permanent, sometimes companies will help employees find other jobs or extend benefits while the employee searches for new employment. Because of expense in recruiting and training new employees, well-organized human resource departments try to minimize losses caused by separation and transfers. An exit interview is a survey used to determine why the employee is leaving the organization. This can help the organization identify problems. Designing a fair financial compensation plan is important because wages and salaries are a substantial portion of the organizational expenses. Wages that are too high may result in high-priced products, while wages that are too low may harm morale and result in turnover. Designing a fair financial compensation plan is a difficult task. A wage-salary survey tells a company how much compensation comparable firms are paying for jobs that firms have in common. Wages are financial rewards based on the number of hours the employee works or the level of output produced. Time wages are based on the number of hours worked. They are easily to compute but provide no incentive to increase productivity. Minimum wage is federally mandated minimum amount per hour. Some states and municipalities have a higher mandatory minimum wage. Piece wages are based on the level of output. A major advantage of piece wages is that employees are encouraged to supervise their own activities and increase output. Commissions are payments to an employee for a fixed number of percentage of the employee's sales. This method motivates employees to sell as much as they can. A salary is a financial reward calculated on a weekly, monthly, or annual basis. This method is associated with white-collar workers and professionals. Other forms of financial compensation include bonuses that are in addition to regular compensation and given as a reward for exceptional performance. It also includes profit sharing, which is distribution of a percentage of the company's profits to the employees whose work helps generate those profits. Employee stock ownership plans have gained in popularity in recent years, and profit sharing can motivate employees to work hard because increased productivity and sales mean the profits or stock dividends will increase. Benefits are non-financial forms of compensation provided to employees, such as a pension plan, health insurance, life insurance, sick leave, holidays, credit union memberships, health programs, and childcare. Employer costs for compensation in the U.S. average $34.72 per hour worked. Wages and salaries account for 68%, while benefits account for 31%. Legally required benefits include Social Security, Medicare, federal and state employment insurance, and workers' compensation. This accounts for 7.6% of total compensation. Such benefits increase employee security and, to a certain extent, morale and motivation. A benefit increasingly offered is the Employee Assistance Program. These programs offer counseling for and assistance with employees' personal problems that might hurt the job performance if not addressed. They help reduce costs associated with poor productivity, absenteeism, and other workplace issues by helping employees deal with personal problems that contribute to these issues. Companies try to provide benefits they believe their employees want, but diverse people may want different things. Some companies use fringe benefit programs to allow employees to choose the benefits they would like up to a specified amount. Traditional fringe benefits include sick leave, pension plans, health plans, and bonuses. Soft benefits include on-site childcare, spas, food services, and even hair salons. Cafeteria benefit plans allow employees to select the benefits most important to them. A labor union is an employee organization formed to deal with employers for achieving better pay, hours, and working conditions. Union workers make significantly more than non-union employees. Significant aspects of HRM, particularly compensation, are dictated by the union contracts at many companies. Although unions provide employees with considerable negotiation power, union growth has slowed in recent years, and prospects for growth do not look good. Most blue-collar workers have already been organized. The United States has shifted from manufacturing to a more service economy, further reducing the demand for blue-collar workers. An increased focus on productivity and efficiency has led to more participative management, blurring the lines between management and workers. Labor unions have been successful in organizing blue-collar manufacturing, government, and healthcare workers, as well as smaller percentage of employees in other industries. Collective bargaining is the negotiation process through which management and unions reach an agreement about compensation, working hours, working conditions for the bargaining unit. The objective of negotiation is to reach agreement about labor contract, which is the formal written document that spells out the relationship between the union and the management for a specified period of time. In collective bargaining, each side tries to negotiate an agreement that meets its demands. Compromises is frequently necessary. Management negotiations gain or retain control over employment issues. Unions focus on contract issues such as the magnitude of wages, better pay, holidays, better scheduling, and benefits. Many labor contracts contain cost of living escalation clauses, givebacks or wages or benefits concessions given by employees. Sometimes labor and management cannot agree on labor contracts. When collective bargaining breaks down, either side may resort to drastic measures to achieve its objective. Some of these labor tactics include picketing, the public protest against management practice with workers marching at the employment plant. Strikes or employees walkout are one of the labor's most effective weapons against management. However, they are a weapon of the last resort. And a boycott is an attempt to keep people from purchasing the company's products. Some management tactics is a lockout, is where management's version of a strike. Management actually closes a work site so the employees cannot go to work. And strike breakers are people hired by management to replace striking employees. They're often called scabs by union members. It's often a measure of last resort from management. Outside resolution may be necessary if other means of dispute resolution fail. In such cases, the parties have three choices: conciliation, mediation, or arbitration. Conciliation involves the use of neutral third party, a conciliator, to keep labor and management bargaining. The conciliator goal is to get both parties to focus on the issues and prevent negotiations from breaking down. Mediation involves use of neutral third party, a mediator, to suggest solutions to the problem. This third party has no formal power over the labor or management. Arbitration involves bringing in a neutral third party, an arbitrator, to decide how to settle the dispute. An arbitrator solution is legally binding and enforceable. Generally, arbitration occurs on a voluntary basis. Management and labor must agree to it. Sometimes management and labor submit compensatory arbitration, in which an outside party requests arbitration to head off a prolonged strike. Diversity refers to participation of different ages, genders, races, ethnicities, nationalities, and abilities in the workplace. Differences can be separated into primary and secondary characteristics of diversity. Primary characteristics include age, gender, race, ethnicity, abilities, and sexual orientation. Secondary characteristics of diversity include work background, income, marital status, military experience, religious beliefs, geographic location, parental status, and education. Although defining characteristics of primary and secondary can help enhance our understanding, we must remember that each person is defined by its interrelationships of all characteristics. The U.S. workforce is becoming more diverse. Employment of women, African Americans, Hispanics, and other minorities, as well as disabled workers, will continue to rise. By 2044, minorities will make up more than 50% of the U.S. population. More and more companies are trying to improve HRM programs to recruit, develop, and retain more diverse employees to better serve their diverse customers. Effectively managing diversity in the workforce involves cultivating and valuing its benefits and minimizing its problems. There are a number of benefits to fostering and valuing workforce diversity. More productive use of companies' human resources. It reduces conflict among employees of different ethnicities, races, religions, and sexual orientations as they learn to respect each other's differences. Many productive working relationships among diverse employees as they learn more about acceptance of each other. It increased commitment to and sharing the organizational goals among diverse employees of all organizational levels. It increases innovation and creativity as diverse employees bring new, unique perspectives to decision-making and problem-solving tasks. It increases the ability to serve the needs of an increasingly diverse customer. As workforce diversity becomes a valued organizational asset, companies spend less time managing conflict and more time accomplishing tasks and satisfying the customer. Many companies strive to improve their working environment through affirmative action programs, which are legally mandated plans that try to increase the job opportunities for minority groups by analyzing current pool of workers, identifying areas where women and minorities are underrepresented, and establishing specific hiring and promotional goals to resolve these discrepancies. Legislation reinforces affirmative action but prohibits organizations from setting hiring quotas, and might result in reverse discrimination. Sexual harassment in the workplace has become one of the biggest ethical and legal challenges facing corporations. Sexual harassment is a term used to describe unwanted behavior anywhere from suggestive remarks to sexual assault. The latest recession caused many businesses to lay off workers, increase responsibilities of workers they've retained, and cut benefits. As a result, workers' grievances has increased. New technology is blurring the lines between work time and leisure time, and it's important for managers to be aware of legal issues regarding workers' rights. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this lecture. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.